Now, we're going to bring in Diptyque Laurent, who's been looking through the French papers for us this morning. Hello there.
Hi, Kat.
And you're going to start us off here in France with a bit of a brewing political battle. We've got another presidential coming up. We keep saying this, it's not all about the US, here in France next May. And we're seeing some of the preparatory steps happening right now, aren't we?
That's right. Well, it's a second president or primary debate in which debate on the right, in which frontrunners Nicolas Sarkozy and Alain Juppé are facing off to secure the nomination of presidential candidate for the right ahead of next year's elections. The problem is that François Bayrou, who's actually the leader of the centrist party in France and is not participating in this primary, is creating chaos, sème la zizanie, as Le Figaro says on its front page. Bayrou has openly supported Alain Juppé against Nicolas Sarkozy, and as you can imagine, Sarkozy is taking this as an affront. On Wednesday, he published a long post on Facebook warning of the dangers of this alliance, saying it would lead to a, quote, status quo presidency. Many see it actually as revenge from Sarkozy against Bayrou for voting against him in the presidential elections in 2012. Bayrou actually at that time came out in support of Hollande. L'Opinion, the right-wing newspaper, says it's the va-tout of Sarkozy. He's going all in now against Juppé. And in this cartoon from CAC, you see Sarkozy and his aide there saying they need also a Clinton-like email scandal to help their campaign.
Some great French vocab coming out there. Zizanie, va-tout. It's good for anyone learning French. Le Parisien, the tabloid, has feels that Sarkozy might have some other tricks up his sleeve. What might they be talking about?
Well, Le Parisien is convinced that we haven't heard the last of Sarkozy. He has not yet lost. That's what it says on its front page.
I mean, he's not very popular, really, is he?
He's not popular. The polls indicate that, and people, quite frankly, are sick of him. But Le Parisien believes that he's sure to create surprises. This is who Sarkozy is. One of his strengths, of course, is his unwavering self-assurance. And his plan now is to mobilize his electorate, his core group of supporters, get them out voting in that primary election, get him into the second round, and then take it from there. Now, the big weakness of Sarkozy is his ego, as we know, and this is something that his rival Alain Juppé is really playing up on. Alain Juppé is portraying himself as the older, wiser, more experienced, discreet candidate. He visited the Parisian suburb of Argenteuil yesterday, and he didn't even need to evoke the name of his rival. That's what Le Monde says in this article. Juppé rather played the, quote, reflection of Sarkozy. You might remember Argenteuil is actually the suburb where Sarkozy in 2005, as interior minister, promised a local that he would get rid of, I quote, this group of scum, referring to a group of protesters, rioters during weeks of suburban unrest.
Yeah, and people saying that's no way to talk about your potential electors. Well, we've talked a lot about the personalities. What about the actual policies? Those getting a little bit of scrutiny in the papers.
Well, it seems really, whatever election we're talking about, the US or France, we don't talk much about policy anymore. Libé goes a step further talking about political programs. They actually mock the political programs of the right candidates, saying it's a liberal potion that has not changed in decades, and les tontons ringards, ringard meaning sort of old-fashioned,
uncool.
out-of-date, uncool, and that's actually a play on words of a famous French film called Les Tontons Flingueurs. Now, Libé says, I quote, in France, imposing in France a Thatcher-like program from 30 years ago does not show a sharp sense of modernity. The paper says if only the French left were more lucid and united, they could counter this giant leap backwards. It's a similar message from L'Humanité, the communist paper, which denounces the odious overbidding of the right, civil servants, the unemployed, and the unions. These are always the obsessions of the right in France.
All right, let's just skip on then to another story, something rather different. It's apparently Kindness Day today, November the 3rd, and that's being picked up on in Le Monde.
That's right. And according to this philosopher interviewed in Le Monde, it turns out that being kind to your fellow workers does not indicate weakness, contrary to popular belief. These acts of kindness, for instance, holding the door for a colleague who doesn't say thank you, doing something to help your colleague without expecting anything in return, will actually help your reputation in the workplace. You become somebody who's dependable, who's reliable, and after all, a friendly workplace is better for everyone. The key is being sincere about it all.
All right, well, I can sincerely say that was fantastic press review. Thanks very
so
much.
kind.
I look forward to hearing what you found in the international papers a bit later on. That was Diptyque Laurent with our French press review this morning.